What's up, guys? This is my back test from March the 27th of 2026. This is my back test from yesterday. You can see we've got a lot of trades. We've got 15 total trades, 13 won, 2 of them lost, and the win rate was 86.6%. These trades are using my discretion, of course. There were more zones than the ones that I marked, but those zones didn't get filled. I only marked and drew the zones for the trades that were filled. Let me explain the trade. Alright, so if we go to my trading plan, we can click on this diagram and see exactly what I trade. So let's go to this. So in a downtrend, I'm looking for a indecision candle or opposing candle before an impulse candle. An impulse candle is a candle that creates a gap in price, which would be this bearish engulfing candle right here. Well, not engulfing, but bearish engulfing momentum candle. And this is a indecision or doji candle, which an indecision candle is categorized by big wicks and small body. I also use opposing candles because since time is fractal, the opposing candle before the engulfing candle within that range, that would also be an indecision candle, because in that time frame, price didn't make any distance. It went up and went down and closed. It closed at the same point where price opened. So that would be indecision on a lower time frame, and it would look something like a bearish pin bar. And I trade this 2RR minimum, and there needs to be an imbalance. There needs to be a fair value gap. So now if we go to my backtesting session, you'll see this is exactly what the diagram looks like, exactly what my trades look like. Let's see, so what would be an example? So this right here is an opposing candle before an impulse candle, created a big gap. We're expecting price to come back and fill the gap, which it does, puts us in the trade, and we have our stop loss a point above the zone and our take profit 2RR, or you can target the low. But what I like to do is just make it 2RR minimum, so even if it means targeting past the low, that's what I'll do, especially because we are in a downtrend and we're expecting price to break the low anyways. But if you want to be more safe, and if you think like price might just sweep the low in reverse, then you can target the low, but that's more if like we're in a sideways market or if we're in a bullish market. If we're in a bearish market, then you would want to extend your TP past the low anyways, most likely, because the probability of price going past the low is higher in a downtrend market. So this is another example of a trade that I would take. This is an indecision candle, doji candle before impulse. And this trade lost. That's fine. Losses are part of the game. And yeah, this is a systematic error. I don't have any explanation for why this trade lost, except for the fact that in a downtrend where price is making lower lows and lower highs, price is going to, of course, pull back, right? So you do not know when price is going to pull back, and you can't predict a pullback. I mean, actually, hold on. So we got 2 dojis here. We got 2 dojis here. So that could signal that price is going to pull back, because doji is a reversal candlestick pattern. So maybe you could avoid that loss if you saw dojis before your entry and you don't want to see dojis before your entry. But here there was a doji before the entry as well, but it was after the correction, not before the correction. So if you see dojis before your entry, you could assume price is going to correct, but I don't think this is an avoidable loss, because if anything, price could just correct to your zone and then continue shorter. But there are more gaps above. I avoid unavoidable loss, which is fine, because this is fine anyways. Alright, so this is another example. This is like the trade that you just saw. This is a indecision doji candle before an impulse candle. Let me fix this. There you go. So yeah, that is a indecision candle before an impulse candle. In a downtrend, it's an impulse candle because it created a gap in price, a fair value gap. Okay. And we're expecting price to pull back to it and continue shorter, continue going lower. And you can extend your TP to lows. So like if I extended it to this low, now the points is 18.5 points and the RR is 2.85. That's great. Same with this trade right here. Indecision candle before impulse candle and downtrend. Price comes back, fills the imbalance, puts us in the trade. and then goes to TP. And if you could trade this 2RR and you would have been out of this trade in less than 5 minutes, as you can see. Or you can extend your TP to the low because you're trading with the objective, you're trading with swing structure, and now your RR is 13 RR and you're going for 36.75 points, which is just significantly better. Alright, what else do we have? So yeah, that's I'll explain this one. So yeah, this is an indecision candle. It's a bullish pin bar, but still indecision because the wicks were big and the candle body was small. Before a big impulse candle, we're expecting price to fill the gap and continue shorter, which it did exactly that. 2RR. Already explained this trade. This one was let's see. This one was not in. It wasn't really an indecision candle. The wicks were like almost the same size as the candle, but the candle size was still bigger than the wicks, but it had wicks on both sides. And price formed an imbalance candle after that and another one, and we're expecting price to fill the imbalance and then continue going shorter in the direction in which it did. And this trade in particular also gave you confirmation because it formed a doji and then another imbalance candle after the doji, which is our setup again in that trade 1, 2RR. This is it again, doji before imbalance candle, before impulse candle. We're expecting price to fill the imbalance and continue shorter, which it did. This is not really an indecision candle because the body is quite big. Can I click on it and make it? There we go. So yeah, this isn't really an indecision candle because the body is quite big, but it did create a imbalance candle after that broke that low as well. And we're expecting price to fill the imbalance and then continue going shorter, which it did. Same deal here. This is a indecision candle before an impulse candle. Yeah, it was near the low, it swept the low, and that makes this trade low probability because all it did was sweep the low and then make another pullback and then continue. But before we see what it did at this point, before we're in the trade, it looks pretty good. It looks high momentum, but all it did was just sweep that low. You can see the rejection of price, and then it made a deeper pullback. So this trade can still win. I mean, this trade could have still won, even though it only swept the low, but it's just lower probability. Indecision candle, imbalance candle, impulse candle. We're expecting price to fill the imbalance, which it did, put us in the trade. Top tick the entry straight to TP, no drawdown. 2RR, 10 points. That's great. Indecision candle, impulse candle. We're expecting price to fill the imbalance, pulls back to it. This setup is very easy. This setup is very simple, very profitable, very robotic, and pretty mechanical. There is discretion, of course, because this, hold on. How can I explain how this is discretional? Oh, I can explain how. It's discretional because if you take like, this isn't an indecision candle, right? This is the last candle before an impulse, right? And it created an imbalance candle. And while you can trade this, this isn't what I personally look for. But you can trade this, and this did win, but this is not what I look for. So we can see our setup again, indecision candle before impulse candle, and you can see in this setup, right, price did not sweep the low. Price actually broke the low with a lot of strength, right? Then pulled back to fill this imbalance and continued shorter. Great trade. Some of these trades will give you some drawdown. Some of these trades will top tick the entry, but regardless, never put your stop loss at break even. Please, just take my word for it. Speaking from personal experience, do not put it at break even. Do not trail your stop loss. Unless you're trading like a home run or something, I guess, but even then you still wouldn't want to trail it because like your RR is already higher. Yeah, just don't trail your stop loss and don't please do not put it at break even. Never put your stop loss at break even. You will get stopped out in a winning trade. You will. If this trade is going to fail, it's just going to fail, and there's not really anything you can do about it. And if it's going to hit TP, the only thing that you can do to get in the way is literally put your stop loss at break even. That will actually increase your likelihood of losing or missing out, is putting it at break even. All right, and then the last trade is, we see this. So this I actually do like, even though it's not an indecision candle before an impulse candle, right? It's the same size candle, right? But what do we see before it? We see the same, the opposite candle before that candle. So we see a bullish candle, then a bearish candle, and they're both the same size. What this would look like if we combine the two candles, it would look like a bearish pin bar. So this is what it looks like if we combine those two. All right. So yeah, and this says indecision candle. It's not, bro. I just copied this text like 15 times, and I wasn't gonna change it. I was only gonna change the RR. Okay. So yeah, bro. The setup is great. The setup is profitable. The setup is very easy to follow. The setup is very mechanical. It's a little bit discretionary, but like every setup is. Like, do not trade every fair value gap, and do not trade every high and low, or else you'll become the liquidity. Yeah, bro. That's pretty much it. Let me know if you have any questions. Excuse me. Yeah, this is great. I love this. This setup is amazing, bro.